Ladies and gentlemen, what's up? Today we're marking timber. We've got Lauren with us, and I love when Lauren gets to help me mark timber because she gets to write the numbers and I can carry the paint and the stick, and it frees up hands and it makes it easier. So let's show you what we're gonna do here. We right now are right here, parked right there, and that's looking, we're looking up that way. So there's this big ridge up here we got to mark the timber on. So I think we're gonna do is we're gonna start in right about here. We're gonna work up this edge. We're gonna work our way up to the top and probably fan back and forth across the top, catch this ravine all the way down around here, around the face of the mountain, back into where we were. This has all been logged before. This patch here, right here, was where they landed this piece, and we have this one to mark too. Supposedly owned by the same owners, but they landed that one there. So I'm going to work on this one today. It's 87 acres, and then we'll do this tomorrow. So, or maybe today, I don't know. We'll see how much of it we can get. Looks like the material's pretty spread out. But I want to go up this edge because I want to mark that line and then come across the back. So, I used to hunt groundhogs up here when I was a little kid. Not a little kid, but teenager. Seems like a little kid now, but we're gonna put the camera on Lauren for a little bit, and you guys can see how she documents in the book, and then I'll show you what I do. You've seen me mark timber, but just kind of give you a window into what I'm doing, why I'm doing it, and why I think that's how it should be done.
What are you looking at?
You.
Me? You were kind of like looking over there.
I got ADD. All right, give us a minute to get going. We're gonna hike up in there. Okay, we're on. So we just started this. We're at the property line. Turn on, you can show them. Property line goes up this way. We have you on the chest mount on Lauren. Does it need cinched
Raise
up?
it up, yeah.
Raise it up. Okay. Wish you left your hair done up.
Sorry. Oh, it's hitting my chin now.
Okay. How's that?
Better.
We can tilt this down a little bit like that.
Much better.
Okay, so the property line turn. You don't have to tilt like that.
I feel like I do.
You don't. It's panoramic. It's like fisheye. So the property line goes up that way. And then, you know, obviously down that way. We parked down over here. We came up. That down there is like a red bed, clay bed. It's real soft. It's full of elm. Probably going to just stay out of that because cutting roads across that, and it's just going to be nasty and wet, and there's really nothing worth down there going to get. So
A lot of the elm was dying too.
yeah, it's all dead elm. And now what we're going to do here is tell you the difference in between some elms and some things. She was asking me the difference between red oak and black oak, and I was talking about the lumber and how we sell it, and she was like, no, like when you identify it. So you come here, you wrote that one down, right?
Yep.
We just marked this one. This is a black oak. You see there's old skidder scar right here, but that's a black oak. There's one right there, it's a black oak. This one here is a black oak. The difference is, in layman's terms for me, is the bark, it's real coarse. Like it's real, like the scales are small on it if you were to like compare like a fish scale. So like a fish scale compared to a sunfish to a giant carp, you know. Red oak would have carp size scales and black oak would have sunfish size scales. You can look up the tree and see it too. It's always defined as a lesser value than red oak, but 9 times out of 10 you go to a mill, it saws up, it goes right into pile with the red oak, and it's sold as the same price. Don't know why that is. There's a lot more defect in black oak normally, so. But Lauren was asking that, and she's like, hey, this is a learning thing, you should be videoing it, and she's right.
I'm also working on my tree identifying skills.
Yes. So we have our typical Biltmore stick, form class 78. You know, you guys know that 25 inches from the eye. Without moving your head, you line it up over here. You know, you hold it at the inside edge. You have to measure inside the bark. You don't want to measure the full diameter of the tree because you're getting an inaccurate measurement. You got to kind of estimate that the bark on a tree like this is about 1/2 inch thick. In the giant ones, it's like 3/4 of an inch thick or 1 inch thick. We're gonna go inside the bark. Got a 19-inch tree, and there's two 16-foot logs in this. Now, so that's 194 for black oak. Now she'll write that in her book there. You want to show them the book. And we'll put the species and everything in there, and then we add them up after.
So far, we've got black oak and hickory. There is elm,
We
but
just
it's
started.
mostly dead.
So it's a slash dot mark sale, so that's how we're doing it. What was I gonna say? How you determine the 16-foot logs? Use the Merit hypsometer, which is on this edge of the stick. What you do is you walk 66 feet from the tree. You hold this bottom edge right here at the base. You line it up with your eye at the base of the tree, and without moving your head, you look up, and it goes 1, 2, 3, and it tells you how many 16-foot logs you can get out of it. Merchantable timber. You have to, you know, you don't want to go up the limbs and stuff. You know, for measurable timber, that's what you do. Now, I did that one without it, and it's just because once you do it so much, you can get an eye for, I'll get, you know, 32 feet there roughly, or two 16-foot logs roughly. You can kind of get it. Like this one right behind you only had 1.5. So that a 16-footer and an 8-footer. This one over here, it's got a Y. You'd get about 18 foot, but I'm going to call it a 16 foot. I can't merchant that 2 feet. You know, plus it's a crotch, it'll probably break when it hits the ground. So, like this cherry here, it's just full of woodpecker holes and stuff. You can get a firewood pole out of that if they're going to cut firewood, but that tree needs to go because it's rotten. We'll mark that in cull trees. Cull trees are trees that just have to be, she marks them down on the bottom part of the page down here. And we just mark those down, number of cull trees. There's no scale given to a cull tree. All they have to be is cut down. Whether the logger takes them or not is up to him. Cull trees, real easy. Dot on the bottom to prove that it was a tree supposed to be cut. There you have it. Cull tree. So we're gonna get rid of this red oak here, and then that big banana peel down there has got to go. So this is only 15 and 1, so 60 foot in that tree. Now this is what's nice. She can stay there, and I'll walk down and mark this tree.
Yeah,
A
you
lot of nice hard maple coming up in here.
you guys don't want to hear my labored breathing. I'm a bit out of shape. He's mountain goat though.
This is 16 and 1.5 because it's just a little too crooked to get to. So we're going to call that 100-foot black oak. All right, moving down the path. You can see this all kind of flipped right here. So I'm just going to keep them out of that. Like I said, there's one decent hard maple down there, but it isn't worth disturbing all this dirt to go get it. And that's what I look for when I'm cutting trees. I like to mark my timber because I can look at it and go, you know, a forester might go, ooh, we're going to go down there and mark that because that's more footage and that's going to raise the price. So I'm going to look at that and go, as a logger, it is not worth my time or money to go down there to get that. I'm just going to leave it. It's not going to impact the forest any. Now, if I have an area that's got a bunch of dead stuff, like I said, hay or dying stuff, like I said, there's oak wilt, that's a different story. Or if it's things that just need cut, I'll go down there and hack away just to, you know, for the better of the forest. But you don't have to go down there with you can go down with a chainsaw. You don't have to go down with equipment. So, but we got a hickory here.
Hickory dickory dock.
There's scars on both sides of this hickory. You see that cherry top. I bet you they cut some at one time. It fell in between there and scarred the hell out of that tree, and then it is rotted. So you're going to lose the first 16 foot of each side of that tree you can figure because of rot. So we'll scale it. Oops. One side, 17 and 2 is 140. And this side is 15 and 2 is 96. So we got 236.
Now, why is that one not all shaggy like some of the other hickory?
276. Did you write that down?
I did. Oh.
I gotta take some off that. So what's 276 divided by 2?
135, 36, 37, 138.
There you go. Put that down because we're gonna lose those first 2 halves of that.
So we're 1/3.
38 for hickory. That is pig nut hickory. That's why it's not real shaggy,
Okay.
like shag bark hickory.
So this one's pig bark.
Pig nut. Yeah.
Pig nut.
Nut. A bunch of dead elm in here. There's really nothing you can do with. You want to put an HM down for hard maple?
Yep.
There's a skidder road right there. Someone put across there. Looks like a little bit of nicer timber up on top there. Once again, though, you've got defect right here. We're going to get 1.5 out of this tall. A little oddly shaped. So I got 14 one way, 16 the other way, so we'll do 15 to center it. We'll go 75 feet hard maple. We got a cherry. And then we have gray elm. Ooh, a walnut right there, but I think it should probably go. You see how messed up the top is?
Yeah.
It's gonna get rot in it. We got 18 and 2 at once. No, 18 and 64. So we're gonna go 125 cherry. We only got one in this. Between 160 for walnut. Then we've got, did you mark down gray elm?
Mm-hmm.
We got one back here. We'll get 2 out of that for sure. Almost 3. Keep rotating the stick. 20s with a 19 and 2. 194 gray elm. Growing in vines are going to destroy that tree next to that one. So we'll leave that one go because that red elm's going to die. And that hard maple will take over. So, all right, we will get you more video once we find another patch of some better stuff. Back up a little bit. Ladies and gentlemen, this is day 2 in here. We weren't able to finish yesterday. We're up on this whole other mountainside, and how, go ahead and give them a pan. The timber has changed. It's a little better over here.
Steeper.
But this is the harder stuff to get to, and that's why. There's the property line right down there. But we talked about the red and the black oak differences. What's this one here, honey? We were just talking about
Chestnut oak.
chestnut oak. You can tell by the tops. It's going to be hard for you to see on the camera, but this can dupe you sometimes. From a distance, someone will think it's like a black oak or maybe even a red from a far distance. But to me, chestnut is very distinctive. Very coarse bark. Once it's sawn, it looks just like white oak. I know the medullary rays in these, which are the flake in white oak when you quarter saw white oak. So these have all trees have medullary rays, but medullary rays in these are even more prominent than
you know, just normal white oak. So they usually quarter saw this and it gets sold as white. But not all mills will pay you white oak prices for this. They will not make barrel staves out of this, as far as I know. If I'm wrong, someone correct me. But this side of the hill is mostly black oak, red oak, and there's some rock oak and some white oak. Definitely an oak side. Now here, right next to you, we have a little crappy gum tree.
That's what I was thinking that one was, and that's
Yeah,
why I
that-
asked if it was on our list yet.
Yep, yep.
Because it looks a lot like a gum tree to me, just like the bark's not the same, but it looks similar.
Do you have? Yeah. All right. Well, you go. Just hit that button there on the top. Just click it. All right. We're moving good today. There's a type of mark I want to show you, and then I'm just going to run off and do my thing for a minute, so you guys can kind of see what she's doing and what I'm doing and how it works. I'm out of breath. Sorry, I was just over that hill. So right here we have a chestnut oak. That's some damage right here. This is an old skid road from previous logging. I've got a 16-inch tree inside the bark. Well, let me check it this way. It's closer to 15. I can get two 16-foot logs out of that. And I talked about the Merit-Tips on and all that. So that's a 100-foot tree. So we'll go ahead and mark that. Now you wonder, will this back half live? And this is up pretty high. Probably would live. This job is trying to be cut with a buncher, so if he cuts here, we'll be just fine. We're not trying to annihilate this place. So here we got another chestnut oak. We got a white oak over there. I'm going to show you what I do when I find scar. This tree's just not quite big enough. Trying to go 15 inches chest height, unless there's something wrong with the tree. The tree's gonna get smushed. Lauren's favorite saying is, if you're gonna break it, take it.
If you're gonna break it, you might as well take it.
We got a white oak, not quite 2 logs, so we're gonna go about 70 feet on this one. How did I come up with that number? Well, I've sat there and figured this out before, and we've had enough on this job that I can remember it was just 70 feet. So you take a 100-foot tree, which was at that diameter was 15 inches of chest high. You take a 100-foot tree, that's 2 logs high. You take that, you divide it by 2, but the top log has a little bit less footage in it. And then when you take that top log and you find the footage in that, you divide it by 2, then you add that to the first log on the bottom. That's how I come up with 70. Yeah, it gets...
You're a good mather.
Thank you. Confusing. We got a red here. Nice red oak out mixed over there too. Between 100 red oak. I try to mark these in a position or a manner that I know the guys will be coming with the machine. The machines will all be coming from Lauren's right-hand side, so they'll be coming from out there. So I try to put the marks facing that. Now once I go down the face of the hill, I turn the marks so they're facing us here. And I always put 2 on it so you see it coming and going. I want them to be able to see them. There's nothing I hate more than people that... I hate timber that's marked like this. And the guy will come up. Okay, this one here is 75 foot. They'll just go. You know how hard that is to see, especially when the paint fades? Spend the extra couple bucks. Put a slash on the damn thing. That was white oak, you get it?
No, what was it?
75 feet white oak. The other way to do it is you can put a full ring around the tree. I always end up making it all crooked and everything else. Nothing meets, looks like crap. I burn twice as much paint. Slash is more insufficient, and you don't have to worry about looking like a uncoordinated person when your lines don't meet, because they never do on this.
I feel like all the other places that we've seen marked and we've also gone and marked it, everybody does the dot.
I love the dot because it's just, you know, paint. Oh geez, this paint cost me about $60 a case when you buy it by the case. I use that Airvo Professional Choice. This is just straight blue. I like blue, fluorescent red. I'm going to try to get into red and fluorescent blue.
The pink's good. Or the
Yeah.
orange? Is it pink or orange though?
We don't have, the fluorescent red looks almost pink.
Okay, that's the one I'm thinking of then.
The other yellows and greens, don't even try marking greens unless you're going to cut something in the middle of winter. And you know it's going to be the middle of winter, because once you paint it fluorescent green and color green, it's great. Got black oak, 2 logs, is 18 wide, 164. That dot is to just show after the tree's been cut that that was a tree that was marked that was supposed to go. Come over here, we're going to mark this other thing. I want to show a damage mark I used. There's a big old burrow on this one.
Ooh.
See it up there?
Yup.
Big old ball knot. This tree, a big old scar in it right here. Now between that burrow and this, I figure I'm only gonna, you gotta figure this scar probably runs up to almost here, because that's an old scar. So this tree, 16 and 1, 75 feet I'll give this tree, because you're going to lose it from the burrow and you're going to lose it from here there. Now when I mark this tree, I've deducted, I've allowed for that. So the guy purchasing timber will know that I saw that damage and I allowed for it in my marking of my footages. I do that. That means slash damage low. And then I'll do it on the other side. Now,
You know, I always thought it just meant you were only getting half a tree.
no. So now if that damage was above that,
Okay.
I'd put this.
You did that back there on one.
Yep, I'd put the
Okay.
minus above it, because there was a white oak back there that had a big, you know, rotten spot in it.
Honestly, when you did that, I looked at it and thought you were like saying it was half a tree.
No. So I hope I can clarify some stuff for you guys. This video is getting pretty long. That's how I mark timber. That's how I like it marked. I mark it as a timber cutter. I try not to mark the things leaning over the property lines. I don't mark crap around houses. Nothing leaning towards power lines. Nothing that's going to fall down in stream beds. I just don't mark it, because as a cutter, I know, forbid that I would have to cut that. I don't want to have to deal with it. And if anybody else is cutting timber gets into it, I wouldn't want to put them in that situation. I hate that. I hate when you show up to a job marked by a forester. Nothing against foresters, but they mark everything they can, because obviously it drives that price up, and that's how they make their money. And it's just too dangerous. Our insurance don't cover that stuff, so I don't like to do it. So, but I think that's it for today. We're gonna take this off here real quick. We're gonna let the pretty lady behind the camera say hello and goodbye.
Bye. Goodbye.
So we got a little bit more to mark yet. So we'll talk to you guys later. Over and out.